Now at 5, we're going to learn about a new museum coming to Joplin honoring local heroes. Plus, we'll hear from some local students on the importance of Indigenous Peoples Day and
U.S. citizens may be among those held captive by Hamas militants. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House as the Israel-Hamas war escalates and the death toll rises.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
4 state heroes making sure other local heroes are never forgotten. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Claire Swatos spent 21 years in the United States Marine Corps. Because of that service, she wants to make sure veterans and first responders get the recognition and honor they deserve. So he's opening the Heroes Museum in Joplin. It'll feature items relevant to all branches of the military, as well as police and firefighters. There are also stones of remembrance for fallen service members and first responders.
To the ones that less fortunate, that didn't make it home or made it home and with problems, that physical and mental problems, and it's just my way of giving back. And
the museum will open on the 28th of this month. It's located at 2055 Old 66 Boulevard in Joplin. Whether you're celebrating Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, the nation is reflecting on our history. Since 2019, the state of Oklahoma has adopted Indigenous Peoples Day to honor Native Americans in lieu of Columbus Day. The Sooner State is one of 20 states to adopt the holiday, with Texas being the latest in 2021.
I have family members that are Native, and I think I'm Native, I don't know. But it's just that most people on their day-to-day life, they don't care about Christopher Columbus Day or any other holiday, mostly.
Some local tribes in northeastern Oklahoma are also planning powwows this coming weekend to celebrate Indigenous people. Clear skies out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it's turned out to be another great day outside. We've had a nice little stretch since we cooled down as we worked into the weekend, but temperatures right now, they look great. 71 in Nevada, 75 in Anderson, 77 in Welch. Chanute is sitting at 75 degrees. Our winds, we have a north wind at about 5 to 10. These are actually going to switch out of the south and increase a bit as we go through the next couple days. But clear skies, not much going on here, not much going on across the entire Central Plains. So if you are getting out this evening, sliding back through the 70s, 60s, 50s, eventually into the 40s a little bit later on tonight. And what we're going to be focusing on is a warming trend the next few days, the winds really picking up, some thunderstorm chances. So we're going to be talking about all that here in just a bit.
See you soon. The death toll in Israel has climbed to at least 900 after this weekend's violent incursion by Hamas militants. Israel ordered a complete siege of the Gaza Strip, where civilians and soldiers are being held hostage. The U.S. announced a number of Americans were killed in the violence, and some are unaccounted for. Skyler Henry has the latest now from Washington.
Israel says it has largely regained control of its border communities as it pounds the Gaza Strip with retaliatory strikes for Saturday's bloody attack. Israel's defense minister says no food, water, or fuel will be allowed into Gaza, where Hamas is holding dozens of hostages, by some estimates more than 100, and is threatening to begin executions. Among the captives is an 85-year-old grandmother who was paraded through the streets of Gaza.
I'm sure she's very scared, and I'm sure she feels very alone.
The U.S. State Department now believes Americans may be among the hostages.
Just given the sheer numbers involved, we do expect that there may well be Americans who have been caught up in the hostage taking as well.
In addition to those missing, U.S. officials confirm at least 9 Americans were killed in the attack. President Biden said all countries must stand united against the atrocities. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says Iran was complicit and that Israel must strike back.
No more proportional response. The goal of the Israeli military should be to destroy Hamas in Gaza.
America's most advanced aircraft carrier is moving towards the region as Israel confronts shock and grief. This man was at a music festival where more than 100 died.
They didn't care if you are a man or a woman, you are young or old man. They are killers, they are murderers. What they did is can be forgiven.
Even as the death toll in Gaza rises into the hundreds, Hamas continues firing rockets over the border. And Israel called up hundreds of thousands of reservists, preparing for the next stage of war. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The European Union says it's suspending aid to Palestinians in light of the terror and brutality of the attacks. More U.S. support for Israel would need congressional approval, which might not come for a while as the House tries to figure out who the next speaker will be. Majority Leader Steve Scalise and Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan are the two leading candidates. Neither candidate has enough support to win the speakership, leaving some moderates calling for the House to reinstate Kevin McCarthy. It's been 2 months since wildfires devastated western Maui, but now some hotels are welcoming back visitors. The fires killed at least 97 people, and nearly all of the historic town of Lahaina was destroyed. More than 2,000 buildings were destroyed in the fire, and the majority of them were homes. A study found Maui lost more than $13 million per day in visitor spending. Still ahead, as many classrooms reject artificial intelligence, we're going to learn how some are embracing it. And next in Health Watch, how having dense breast tissue can impact a woman's risk for breast cancer. Topping today's Health Watch, a new study in pediatrics finds the maternal pertussis vaccine lowers the risk of infections in young infants. Research shows the vaccine given to pregnant moms is 65% effective in warding off whooping cough, which is highly contagious and sometimes deadly in babies. A loving bond between parents and young children might pay big dividends later in life. Researchers at the University of Cambridge say close relationships significantly increase a child's tendency to act with kindness and empathy toward others. They also find children who have loving relationships with their parents by age 3 tend to have fewer mental health problems during early childhood and adolescence. Nearly half of women age 40 and older who get mammograms have dense breast tissue. That's according to the National Cancer Institute. Still, many of them might not know or realize how it impacts their cancer risk. Bradley Blackburn introduces us to a survivor working to change that.
Joanne Pushkin started annual breast cancer screening at age 40. At 46, she found a lump which was not picked up by a mammogram.
I found out I had breast cancer, that it had been missed by mammography because of dense breasts, and that I had dense breasts all within 10 minutes of each other. And I had the ultrasound, 15 minutes later, and there it was, clear as a bell.
She had later stage cancer, which required many surgeries, chemotherapy, and radiation.
I really feel like I was effectively denied an earlier stage diagnosis, so there was no awareness that we should be discussing additional screening, no awareness that dense tissue hides breast cancers.
That's because dense breast tissue can look white on a mammogram, and masses and cancers can also look white.
Mammography alone is not adequate screening for women that have dense breast. Additional imaging, such as MRI or ultrasound, should be done.
The American Cancer Society says women with dense breasts also have a higher risk of breast cancer.
Dense breasts are much more common in younger women. Having information is actually very important in understanding how you should be screened and what your risk is.
Information Pushkin didn't have, so she created Dense Breast Info. She fought for a New York State breast density law and testified before the FDA. As of next September, all mammogram reports sent to patients will be required to include breast density.
Nothing I'm doing is going to save any woman from getting breast cancer, unfortunately. But what this does is increase the possibility that we're going to find it early.
She's also working on legislation that would make insurers cover all breast imaging costs for higher risk women. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
The American Cancer Society says if a woman has dense breast tissue, it's still important to have regular mammograms because most breast cancers can still be seen on a mammogram, even in dense tissue. New report from the Alzheimer's Association shows Hispanic Americans are at a greater risk of Alzheimer's than non-Hispanic Americans. In fact, the new research shows Hispanics are 1.5 times more likely to develop the cognitive disease. Experts say it's important to know the early signs of Alzheimer's. Important things you can do to try to prevent the disease are exercise and control diabetes and high cholesterol. And there might be a new bracelet that monitors mood swings for adults. Researchers in Spain are developing a bracelet that monitors electrical pulses under the skin to detect mood swings in people who suffer from bipolar disorder. They hope the device will one day help in early diagnosis and more rapid treatment. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why more United Auto Workers Union members are heading to the picket line.
Plus, our temperatures are going to start to warm back up over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be another nice day for us today. We had sunshine, temperatures fantastic. Most of us into the mid 70s during the afternoon, low to mid 70s. So right about where we should be for this time of the year. It looks great right now. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the trees are starting to change just a little bit. All right, 71 in Stockton. Neosho sitting at 73, 77 in Welch. Chanute checking in at 75 degrees. Crystal clear blue skies, looks great. 7th and Rangeline sitting at 73. Northerly winds at about 5 to 10. Those are going to increase a bit as we go through the next couple days. But the coolest of the air that we kind of had over the weekend is now shifting east, and we are kind of tapping into a little bit more warmer of an air mass as we go through the next few days. Throughout the evening, if you are getting outside, we slide back through the 70s, 60s, 50s throughout the evening hours, eventually into the 40s later on tonight. But nothing going on here. We have clear skies. We look good, the entire Central Plains. We have clear skies, but here's our next storm system starting to at least organize out across the Pacific Northwest. And this is also the beginning of our new pattern that we're in for the next year. But this system will start to affect us by the second half of the week. So we're going to warm up ahead of it, and then behind it, we'll cool back down. Also, we'll most likely at least get a little bit of rain. All right, let's go through time. We're going to stop at 6:30 in the morning. Most of us kind of mid to upper 40s for overnight lows. Still a little cool. Nevada 43, 47 in Miami. Chanute down to about 46 degrees. Through the morning hours, mostly sunny skies, near 70 by noon. Once we get into the afternoon, I think most of us 76, 77 degrees. We are going to get a few clouds. We can't rule out a couple little showers trying to pop up in our far northern counties. Everybody else will stay dry as we go into tomorrow evening. The winds really increase tomorrow night, so we only drop back lower 60s by the time Wednesday morning rolls around. And then once we get into Wednesday afternoon, temperatures will press 80 for an afternoon high. Thunderstorms will stay to our north, but it is that system that will start to affect us. All right, day planner for you on your Tuesday, 47 in the morning, 70 by noon, 76 by 4, high temp right around 77 during the afternoon. And the winds will start to increase. We'll get a southeasterly wind, so we'll have winds gusting kind of 20 to 25, but 20 to 30, maybe 35 by the time we get into Wednesday as that next storm system rolls through. So if we jump back to Thursday evening, here's 3:30 in the afternoon. Look at our temps. We're in the lower 80s. Some scattered thunderstorms try to work in Thursday night, and then behind it, we cool back down. We clear out just in time for the weekend, but temperatures very similar to what we had this past weekend. 77 tomorrow. Northern counties, you guys may get an evening shower. Everybody else dry. 79 on Wednesday, windy. 80 on Thursday. Some evening thunderstorms Thursday night into Friday morning, and then cooling back down and clearing out for another spectacular weekend.
Yeah, cooling way down this weekend.
Looks pretty good.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, how some classrooms are exploring the use of AI as part of its curriculum. Topping today's Consumer Watch, more United Auto Workers Union members are going on strike, this time against Mack trucks. This comes after members rejected a tentative agreement with the company. Many of the union's demands for Mack are similar to demands made with General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. That includes improved wages and health care and pension benefits. 3-week-long strikes have already led to 3 major automakers meeting some key union demands. The United Auto Workers strike against the big three automakers is already the costliest in U.S. auto strike. It's the costest one in history. Economic losses from the strike have exceeded $5.5 billion in its first 3 weeks. That's according to an analysis by AEG. Delta Airlines will pay millions of dollars to settle a class action lawsuit brought by customers. The customers sued Delta, claiming the airline wouldn't refund their canceled flights during the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead of issuing refunds, Delta provided customers with a credit for future travel. The lawsuit claimed that policy was unfair and deceptive. Delta will pay $27 million to customers who filed claims in that lawsuit on top of interest and legal fees. Many school districts throughout the U.S. and around the world have banned the artificial intelligence bot known as ChatGPT because of cheating concerns. But 5 high schools in Denmark are embracing the AI platform, encouraging students to use it as part of a 2-year project. Ian Lee reports.
There's an unconventional way of learning at this school in Denmark.
Okay, what do you think? This is where you think for yourself.
Teachers are actually encouraging students to use the artificial intelligence program ChatGPT, the AI bot known for writing essays and helping kids ace exams.
Whether or not you like this and whether or not you think it's problematic, you have to realize that it is here.
They see AI-generated text not only as a tool to solve problems, but a helping hand.
You know the answer, you're better than the machine.
To better learn information along the way.
It is a misunderstanding to think that the primary goal of the school system is to detect students who cheat. The primary goal of the school system is to teach the students.
It's a nice way of using it. It's giving you a couple of answers if you are in doubt of what the text is about.
These Danish educators believe rather than banning the bot, it's best to talk about it.
It's so important to have open conversations with the students and the pupils and to allow them to do things.
Students see it as a potential personal tutor.
It's almost like a search engine, but you can be more specific with it. And it can give you more straight answers than typing something into Google.
Right now, you're asking...
While also helping to answer how to best use new technology. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The New York City Department of Education, the largest school district in our country, reversed its ban on ChatGPT earlier this year. Educators say the AI tool caught schools off guard, and the ban was in part out of a knee-jerk fear. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, more on the American response to that terror attack in Israel that killed hundreds. Then on KOAM News at 6, a woman is arrested in Weir, Kansas, suspected in several burglaries. Plus, how a Joplin bakery is raising money for children in the foster care system. And Missouri Southern hosts its weekly football press conference after a loss over the weekend. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. The discovery of the Americas might have happened a little bit earlier than previously thought. Now, 2 years ago, dozens of ancient human footprints were discovered in New Mexico's White Sands National Park. The team of scientists who studied the area determined those tracks were made more than 21,000 years ago. However, researchers began to debate the method used to estimate the age of the footprints. Now, the analysis of quartz crystals in the sediments, they lead researchers to believe those tracks were set by people crossing into North America 29,000 years ago.
Long time ago.
Thousands of years prior to what they first thought. The weather looking pretty nice this week.
Yeah, it actually does. It looks really nice over the next couple days. 77 for us tomorrow, 79 on Wednesday. We may get a shower in our northern counties tomorrow evening. Thunderstorm chances late Thursday as we warm up to 80 degrees.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.